welcome back to another segment with Bob Tarter of Animalogy.
Well, again, we have a new exhibit for you today. This is our green iguana, Larry. Now, what lesson I want you to always learn when we look at an animal is you can come up with a theory on what their job is, and that's that niche. When we look at Larry here, he's a very unusual looking lizard, and he likes to wave hi to people. But when we look at Larry, you can see his eyes are on the sides of his head. And that's going to show you something, that Larry's food does not run away from him. Now, plants do not get up and run away from you, so Larry here is our prime example of our herbivore. And eyes on the side of the head are going to tell him if something's coming up to him. But Larry here is also different from us besides being an herbivore. If you take two fingers and you touch your skin, we are warm. You take two fingers and you feel Larry here, Larry's cold. As a cold-blooded creature, he's only going to be as warm as the environment around allows. The warmer he is, the faster he can move, the more food he can eat. Right now, Larry's about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. When he's at home in his enclosure, he will get right underneath his basking light, and he can get to be over 100 degrees. Every time a cold-blooded creature raises their body temperature up 10 degrees, they increase the digestion by 4-fold. When Larry's that warm, he's actually faster than me. But what he has for an amazing animal adaptation, he has lots of them. First one to notice is the large flap of skin right here, the dewlap. And Larry, when he comes around other males, or if he finds females around, he will throw that out, and that will help him look bigger. That will intimidate other males, as well as the females will like to see that. And that will make him look larger. The other cool animal adaptation is right here on the top of the head, right above my finger. You can see that little circle. That is actually a light sensing organ. And that's going to help Larry out because Larry has to worry about predators coming on top. Now, our cold-blooded creature here, imagine him. He's going to wake up in the morning and he's going to go out foraging for food. And when he wakes up, he's going to fill his stomach. Then he's going to climb as high as he can in the tree canopy and get that direct solar radiation. The warmer he is, the faster he eats, the more he can grow. But if a predator flies over the top of the head, he will actually be alerted by that third eye. But when we cover it up and we're doing indoor programs like this and Larry's cold, you can see that Larry actually just falls asleep because his brain says it's nighttime. Larry, that light sensing organ on the top of the head is going to be a way for him to be able to alert his body. Larry. And if a predator comes over the top of him, that shade during the natural sunlight, he will become aggressive and try and bite it. And that'll be a way to protect himself. The large dewlap protects him from making him look bigger, as well as he has that little circle here. That is called PCLS. That's when an animal will have a body marking to look like the eye of a larger predator. So here's our scenario. Larry has a belly full of vegetation. He's high in the tree canopy, absorbing solar radiation. He's alerted by a predator by the third eye coming over the top of the head. He's going to be able to intimidate predators by that large flap of skin and this little circle here. Larry, and a little circle there. When a predator gets close enough and sees that circle, they're going to pause and think, wait, am I hunting Larry or is somebody bigger hunting me? When that predator pauses, that's when Larry will make his escape. This lizard here can be 90 feet in the tree canopy and he'll just jump out of the tree and fall to the ground. And you see the long fingers and toes grab into vegetation and he will grab a hold of a tree limb or a vine and climb back up again. And that'll be a way to protect himself. Now, another cool animal adaptation is I'm holding on to the abdomen. I don't hold on to the tail because Larry's one of our lizards that if he gets scared, agitated, or nervous, he can actually senesce that tail, meaning that tail falls off. If that tail falls off, it's no longer connected to that central nervous system. It's going to sit here thwacking around, squirting blood. Would that protect Larry? Yeah, that'll get the attention of the predator and Larry will be able to run off and be able to regenerate that tissue. Now, if we pull your limbs off, you can't grow a new one, but Larry has the ability to regenerate that tissue. Now, as this herbivorous lizard here, there's another amazing lesson, and that two new vocabulary words, exotic and invasive. Exotic is describing something that's come from like a foreign land. It's not normally found here. And when you think about invasive, the greatest way to think about this, think if you have a little brother or sister, they take things from you. And that's what has happened. The green iguana is not normally found here in North America, but is actually now a very common inhabitant in our southern states, as well as our southern metropolitan areas. Miami has a big problem with them. these animals here, what has happened is a warehouse got knocked down during a hurricane years ago, and these exotic and invasive lizards escaped into the wild, and they are now surviving and reproducing on their own. Now, they're very problematic because they like to eat tender plant parts, flowers. You eat the flowers off of a plant, the plant's not going to make fruit. Without fruit, we will not have seeds for us. Now, classroom, household, library pet, not one of my favorite ones. Lifespan in captivity, up to 25 years. These animals can get 8 to 10 feet in length, some species over 12. But this is our green iguana, the large flap of skin, the dewlap. The circle here called OCLs to look like the eye of another predator. You can see that on moths, butterflies, even fish. The redfish is one of my favorite ones for us. And that light sensing organ on the top of the head, that third eye alerting him of that predator coming over the top. Now, he has the ability to senesce that tail, but you can see it is a very beautiful colored lizard. If you look at his belly, the ventral surface on this one, it will actually blend into the leaf litter and blend into the leaves in the canopy forest. So he's hidden from predators below, but can see them again by that light sensing organ on the top of the head. Green iguana, Larry, several children's books that will do well for this one. All right, this is a different type of lizard that you can tell by, again, looking at how the animal's built for the job. With this one here, I want you all to meet Randy. Now, Randy here is a very cool venomous lizard from South America. Now, venom is when something is injected in your body. Poison is when you eat something bad. And we can tell that this one right here is a wonderful carnivore because of when he sticks out that tongue. Now, if you've seen me before, you know my big pet peeves is when people think that snakes are poisonous. There is no poisonous snakes here, but what we have is a definite carnivore. Using that sense of taste, they flick the tongue through the air, pulling that forked tongue inside of their body. Once it's on the inside of the body, there's a hole in the roof of the mouth called the Jacobson's organ. They stick their tongue right in there. It's right below the brain. Now, his eyesight doesn't have to be nearly as good as that sense of smell and taste for us. Now, with this, you are looking at a brightly colored creature that is not afraid of meat because of that venomous nature for us. If you come across something that is brightly colored and not afraid of you, you need to give it a fair amount of space. Now, this animal here, again, a cold-blooded reptile, but is a carnivore that's found in the desert Southwest. Now, he's built for that amazing niche. Remember, we were talking about those arachnids where we can have scorpions and tarantulas and vinegaroons? This animal here is going to be found in the same area. Now, he's going to wake up and climb up out of wherever he spent the night and sit in the sun and warm himself up. And what he'll use is that sense of taste. Now, what's special about these guys here is they may only be able to eat a week or two in the spring. And that's where they take advantage as much as they can. If he finds a ground nesting animal, could be a quail, could be a mouse, he's going to walk up into it. And the parents that are there with the nest will see this brightly colored venomous creature and realize, I need to go away. And the parents will abandon the nest and they will make a second nest. But what he will do is he will go ahead and walk into that nest, eating all the eggs and all the babies. And what he'll do is convert all those calories into fat, and he stores it in his tail. If you can feel this tail, it feels just like a bratwurst. The skin on this animal here is going to keep moisture in his body, and his tail is going to be where he stores fat. If he only eats a week or two in the spring, he'll be able to survive by keeping his body cool and out of that solar radiation. He'll usually eat a bunch of food, go out, try and find a mate, and then he will have a breeding, and then he can spend the rest of the year hidden out of that sunlight, avoiding everything for us. Now, the venom from these guys actually comes from the lower jaw. It's not like the fangs of our venomous snakes here. And his venom is actually a very important one for us, for any of you that have diabetes medication, as well as battlefield dressings for soldiers. This is a coagulating venom. It clots the blood, where our venom from a snake is actually going to shut down the central nervous system. And so they've synthesized drugs to help treat diabetes as well as Alzheimer's and dementia with that. And that's why these beneficial animals can live with us every day. Now, the hide here feels just like a brand new basketball for us. But what he's going to do is he's going to be walking around, and that thick body is going to protect him from the elements as well as other predators, those of them that don't know to avoid a brightly colored creature. If he comes to something much larger himself, he bites into it and holds on. That's where that wide, powerful jaw set comes into play. Now, it's not going to kill something my size. I'm not going to feel very good, but I'm going to learn a very important lifelong lesson. Do not mess with brightly colored creatures that are not afraid of you. They bite into it using the capillary action of water. When you take a bath or a shower, you can see how water is stuck to the shower curtain. That is using the adhesion and cohesion properties of water. Water likes to touch itself and touch other things. And so what they do is they can bite into it, and the venom will leach through that jaw into that predator force. When you look at a tree and you wonder, how does the water go from the ground all the way to the top? There are little narrowing tubes in that tree that the water will travel all the way up in there. Xylem and phloem is how the water and sugar moves around our huge sequoia trees for us. Now, I certainly do not recommend this as a pet. As an exhibit animal, it's a very cool, beautiful, he's a very calm one. But as a classroom household pet, people do not need to be having venomous creatures for us. In the state of Tennessee, it is illegal to have a venomous snake, but we can have venomous lizards. But this is certainly way more advanced than your average person is to have. Now, we have a breeding pair, male and female, Randy and Faye. We hope to have a clutch of eggs soon that we will then incubate and have young available for other exhibitors like ourselves. But these are beautiful, brightly colored, venomous Gila monster found in the desert Southwest.